completing the square, always rearrange first to be in the order you want. No need to change any sign at all. You're just rearranging them. Okay, then take out the negative. Okay, and then leave the minus 3 outside. Add in the 0 pairs. So remember the 0 pair is always half of this number. So this 3 gives you x minus 2 square. And then this gives you minus 4. Put back the square bracket. Okay, and then expand this in. I'm like a broken record, repeating the same thing over and over again. So make sure you get it right for WA. So the completed square form is this. Okay, do you have to die change the position until it looks like that? No need. Okay, but if you are particular, just rearrange them. And then if they ask for the value of A, B, and C, just write down. B is minus 1. If they never ask, no need. Okay? Did they ask for A, B, C? They never, right? Okay, so you can just show until this point and then you are done. Unless questions say find the values of A, B, and C. Raj, you need more marks. Okay, listen. Too conservative. Okay, so completing the square is definitely worth your effort to learn because E-math will test you, A-math will test you again. It's not like measuring my height like that. Okay, then next one, turning point. You should know that you want to make x the value that will turn this 0, so it's 2. Y is this value. Ignore the negative here. This only tells you the shape. It doesn't affect your coordinates. So coordinates of the turning point is 2, 1. Okay, when they ask you to show this, some of you really try to smoke your way through. This bracket square is always greater or equals to 0 for all real values of x. Please write that down. I promise you for WA1, I will not write down for you and I will minus the marks. Okay? A lot of you, I write this for you and I still gave you the mark here. So if WA you never write, right, I don't give marks. Okay? So it is always greater or equals to 0. And when you add a negative in front, remember the sign flips. So a lot of you, because you forgot about this, right? You just wrote this lesser or equals to 0.
Is there error carry forward?
There is. Okay, and then you add 1 on both sides.
Wait, Miss Wang, can you repeat that again? Flip the side.
Okay, any bracket square is always greater or equals to 0. But if there's a negative sign in front, you are effectively multiplying both sides by negative 1. Okay, that's why you need to flip the sign. Okay, after you flip, you add 1 to both sides. This is your f of x. You have just proven that it is always lesser than or equals to 1. Okay, the last example. They say, can you give me one? This is the one the student writes 67. 1 positive 67, 1 negative 67. Who are you? That one that one. That one in front of the planet, that one. Okay, so this is a maximum curve with turning point 2, 1. This is your f of x. You roughly already know the shape. So they say, I want you to create another minimum point because this is positive, a minimum point or minimum curve such that they won't intersect your f of x. You just need it to be above. So as long as your q value is bigger than 1, it will never meet. So I just let q to be any number bigger than 1. So let's say it's 5. Right? Then there is already one gap here. This is 1, this is 5. Then doesn't matter where it is. Where is the x value? Doesn't matter where. It will never cut it anymore because it's already above it. So you can let your P to be any value.
Wait, so Q has to be 5?
Q can be anything above 1. Q can be any number greater than 1. As long as it's above the highest point, then it is good enough. So that's why you can choose any value. But some of you give me this. Q is greater than 1, P is anything. I ask you to choose, you ask me to choose back. So they already say give an example of a possible value. You give me a specific value. Don't give me a range. Choose one. Okay, don't be greedy. Then they say, can you explain your answer? Why do you choose that to be the case? Then you can tell me that f of x is a maximum curve with maximum value 1. Okay, so if g of x, since g of x is a minimum curve with minimum value greater than 1, they will not intersect. So the idea is to make sure that the maximum, which is at 1, will not touch the minimum. Okay, will not touch the minimum. No matter where it is, it will not touch the minimum. Then you'll be good enough. So at any point in time, if I hear you mentioning that g of x is, or I see you writing that g of x is greater than f of x, then it will be good enough. Okay, and then please mention maximum, minimum. This is this gx is this curve. Gx is this one. F of x is the one you draw above. Yes. How the sign flip. Okay, so again, any bracket square is always greater or equals to 0. So I know x minus 2 square for any real values of x. Any bracket square will always be greater or equals to 0. But you look at my f of x value. Just now earlier on, I've proven that it looks like this. It is not positive. There is a negative sign in front. So I need to multiply both sides by -1. Then I can get minus x minus 2x. Okay, this is still 0, but I need to flip the sign since I multiply by negative number. Then I add 1 to both sides so that I can get f of x, which is less than or equals to 1. Because the expression here has x minus 2. Whatever the expression inside, it doesn't matter as long as it is a bracket square. It's always greater or equals to 0. Yeah, that's why there's a minus sign here. Times. Multiply. Okay, multiply. Okay, next one. You will see simultaneous equation. You will see completing the square. You will see nature of roots everywhere, discriminant. Okay, so the paper is predominantly chapter. Okay, look at this one. They ask you to explain why it intersects the x-axis. Intersects the x-axis means they want you to show what? Yes, because intersect can be 1 point or 2 points. So you will want to show D is greater or equals to 0. So don't write this at the start anywhere because you are supposed to show it. So what you do is find discriminant first step. So this is b square minus 4ac. So after you expand it, you end up with this. Okay, whenever your discriminant ends up to be a quadratic, go and complete the square or factorize it. So if you go and complete the square, it will give you this eventually. Okay, and we like this because we can bring in the very special property we know. Yeah, so for all real values of m, okay, when it's m, you say m. Any bracket square is always greater or equals to 0. And in this case, it's m minus 2. And this is my discriminant. So I have shown that. Okay, that the curve intersects the x-axis.
Do we have to find the curve intersects?
Good to have, since d is greater or equals to 0. Yeah, so that means at the start you cannot write like that. The moment you write this from the start, you are assuming what you want to show. So cannot write from the beginning. You are supposed to go and find d first and then prove to me that it's greater or equals to 0. Yeah, so don't write from the start. A lot of you write from the start. Write like that already. That means you are telling me that it's true. You are not showing. You are using the result to tell me that, yeah, this is true. Okay, so this one important. If I'm a setter, I like to test this. Because when you get a quadratic, most of you will stop here. Then you will lose 2 marks. Okay, because as a setter, we rarely want students to get full marks. Because it means that you have no challenge for the paper.
Let's send a harder paper.
Yeah, so usually if I were to choose, I will definitely have a quadratic discriminant, so that you will be challenged to remind yourself that I need to complete the square, I need to bring in this to solve. Yes. Always negative, something like that. No, not always. It's not non-negative or not negative, something like that. Never negative. That's the correct word. Then that one is the opposite. D less than or equals to 0. Okay, this one, hence or otherwise, show that this value only intersects the x-axis at one point only. State the value of m where discriminant is only equals to 0. Because 1 point only. So when your discriminant is equals to 0, it means this thing is equals to 0. It means m must be 2 only. So that's the m value that must give you 1 point of 2 repeated roots. Okay, I hope by now you should realize that it's getting easier and more familiar. Should be. It cannot be still as scary as the start of the term. Yes.
For the question 2, where did the 4 go? Or is it just like...
Okay, so if you do completing the square, you will add 0 pair. Then the constant is behind, right? So the 0 pair means half of this number. So this 3, you will get m minus 2 square. This one here is a minus 4. And then with the plus 4 is gone. So if you do completing the square here, you will end up having this one only. Yeah. Okay, next one. Let's look at the slope. This is the real world, like the tunnel, right? Just that I flipped the example to be like the skateboarding you all do. So it says, can you find the greatest depth of the ramp? Means they want to know what is the depth, okay, of this. Not the height of this. They want to know the greatest depth. So this one you just need to be careful. First of all, you know you need to either complete the square or go and find your line of symmetry. Then you can find the maximum, the lowest point, the minimum point. So first thing first, if you want, you can complete the square. Take out the 0.6. Then you add your 0 pair. So this 3 will give you this. Okay, so this is your H. So when you eventually solve it, you will get a plus 0.6 here. Okay, so the turning point is 2 and 0.6. So this is your minimum value. Right, this is your minimum value, which is this value here at 0.6. But I want to know what is my greatest depth. Okay, the greatest depth. So at the initial point, I am 3 meters. Okay, at the initial point, okay, wait, I drag the diagram down. Okay, so at the initial point, to find the greatest depth, you need to use 3 meters, take away the 0.6, which is 2.4 meters. So there's this additional step that a lot of you just stop here and it's not good enough. This is the minimum value here. But I want to know what is the greatest depth. Because if you look at the equation, it's at the initial point, you need to sub x as 0. Then you will get h as 3. Okay? Yes. Where are the marks? First is if you use this method to complete the square, and then your turning point, okay, and then you knowing that you need to subtract, and then the final answer. Some of you never use completing the square, you find line of symmetry, right? Okay, and then you go and find the corresponding y. So also can, this is also your method mark. Then your minimum value. Either method is good enough. You need not always complete the square, but if you really love it, then you just do that. Okay, last one. Yes. Yeah, because I want to find this initial point. So this is where x is 0.
Where do you get the 3
The initial height, I sub in x as 0 into the formula. Then I get h as 3. This is my highest point.
So then you subtract the
Yes. Because this is my highest point. And then I'm at 0.6, the lowest point. So I know my depth is the difference between the two. Okay, last one is the safety consideration. Okay, what did they ask? Due to safety reasons, the maximum height above the ground is restricted to 3 meters. Find the largest possible width. So if you go and sub in the value as 3, that means go and sub in h as 3 and then try to solve it. Is it a plus 3? Okay, then you will be asked to solve this instead. So just take out 0.6x. You will have two solutions. Okay, so it happens at x equals to 0 and x equals to 4. So the width is essentially the difference between these two. Okay, I know some of you never go and take the difference because it's understood, but the width is technically the difference between these two. Just so happen that it's 0. Okay, at height 3, it happens at x equals to 0 and x equals to 4. So the width is the difference between the two. Is it time's up? Nobody tell me anything. Equally friendly. Okay, and then this is your equation 2. So sub 1 into 2. So when you see x, you change to 6 minus y. Okay, so eventually you should arrive at 3y square minus 18y, and then your 36 is gone. Seems like it. Okay, so take out 3y. So your y is 0 or y is 6. So after that, you just sub it into your equation 1. You will get x as 6. Okay, and then your other x as 0. So they want coordinates. Make sure you have one more step to write coordinates. So 6, 0, 0, 6. Okay, this one 5 marks. So substitution is always 1 mark. And then arriving at the quadratic is 1 mark. Okay, the method of you getting to this is 1 mark. Finding, no, in this case, since they give 5, each 1 mark. Okay, so it can be a 4 or 5 mark thing. Just make sure when you are doing this question, be very careful in your expansion. Don't make careless mistakes. Okay. So simultaneous must do, must make sure you can do. Okay, next one. Anyway, I sent another few years of papers for printing for A Math, so that once it's ready before, hopefully tomorrow is ready. If it's not, then I'll give you next week, so you can have a bit more practice. Let's look at the next one, 5. So you will expect to see this type of question as well. One curve, one line. The idea is to form a new quadratic. You must always remind yourself of that. So they say this line is a tangent. Determine the value of the constant. So when they tell you this, they are telling you that d is equals to 0. So first thing first, I will sub 1 into 2. So sub equation 1 into 2. So x plus r is this thing. Okay, some of you managed to do this, which you got the 1 mark, but you don't know what to do after that. Rearrange until one side of your equation is equals to 0. So shift everything to this side. Okay, and then form your quadratic. So your A is 1. Okay, your B is -2. And then your C is this whole chunk here without x. So with that, because discriminant is equals to 0, so b squared minus 4ac is equals to 0. So r is just 6. Okay, so that's the value of r they want you to find. So should be quite direct. First mark, second mark, knowing discriminant is equals to 0, final answer mark. Okay, very clear-cut steps. Okay, then you see this question. For 2 consecutive years, they ask similar stuff. This curve lies entirely above. So remember, you must write the inequality. This curve lies entirely above. This one means lies entirely above. Okay, so you have to write this. When they say lies entirely above, lies entirely below, then you just change it accordingly. Okay, then when you get your quadratic expression, it will be this. Okay, and then you want to try to solve this, right? But you can't because it seems to be that you don't have enough information other than the fact that you know there's no real roots. So normally when we reach this stage, the usual way is to sketch, find x-intercept and find the solution. But we can't because there's an R over there. So we go back to the fundamental. Completely above means there's no real roots, means discriminant is less than 0. Okay, and then besides that, we also know that this is a minimum curve. Minimum curve, always positive, means there's no real roots. Okay, so discriminant is b squared minus 4ac is less than 0. So this is 36. B is minus 6. Okay, sorry. So this is 36. So it's 1. So this is the set of values for the constant R. That's all. Okay, so being able to write this correctly, knowing discriminant less than 0, and then finding the solution. Yes, Raven? Then what did I calculate wrongly? Where? So this is 24, 24. Ayo. This is the morning syndrome. Too early. Okay, so this one is 6. This one is 2. So this is 24. So this is 24. So 3 over 2, 1.5. Okay, that's it. Okay, so I hope you see similarity in the paper over the years. I will show you 3 other years so that you can find a trend. Okay, but definitely you should see one simultaneous equation. Definitely there's completing the square. Definitely there's something that asking you about tangent, lying above, and then the inequality. So just make sure you, more or less, when you look at the question, you know what to do. That we did just now, they will say this lies entirely above. They never tell you about discriminant, right? But you know if a curve lies entirely means no, less than 0. But here the inequality is greater lah. But it's discriminant less than 0 because no real roots, they don't cut.
How about entirely below?
Entirely below also same, just that it's a maximum curve. But discriminant also less than 0.
Or less than 0?
Yeah, so look out for the keywords. Axis. So this part, the bow. So that's why your answer is between -1 and 1. Okay, so whenever you see quadratic inequality, this is the steps that should happen in your mind. I know some of you totally don't do this at all. Straight away, you know the x-intercept, and then you somehow can visualize in your mind, and then you give me the answer. Not that you can't, it's 2 marks or nothing. Okay, so I try not to allow you to risk it. In case this one, you end up getting it wrong, if you have this step, you still have 1 mark. Okay, but if you jump to this, it's 2 or nothing. Okay, so it's better to have the factorized stage. So that's why I try to make sure you do that. Okay, this one, same thing. Okay, if you don't like negative, just shift everything to the other side. Make it positive so that it's easier to factorize. Okay, I shift all the terms on the left to the right. So everything stays the same. But just that this one is easier for you to factorize. Okay, so that's your factorized form. So 2x-intercept, 1 is 1, 1 is -6. Okay, and then you look. This is a this we don't look at this anymore because we change it to be positive, right? So it's a minimum curve now. Okay, and then I want the part of the curve that is less than 0. So again, it's the bow, the continuous one. So this is the one. Okay, if you have started off with factorizing this way, also no problem. Okay, minus 6 plus, yeah, correct. So then you would have drawn this. Okay, then you would have wanted the part that is continuous as well. So no matter what, you will have the same answer, whether you solve it from here or there. Okay, next one. This one, easy to factorize. It's exactly like part A, part 2. So if you do it this way, okay, if you factorize it, this is your 2 solution. Okay, and then since it's a minimum curve, the 2 x-intercepts are minus 1 and 6. And then the continuous part is you want the part that is below the x-axis. So again, it's your bow. Okay, so can you just try the rest on your own now? If you are very, very fast, the final answer is below. Okay, you can just check the final answer below. Okay, but try to do it now. You need to fix this because this is an essential skill for your WA. View some inequality somewhere to help you prove this. So it explains why they give you this. Okay, they give you this to help you prove your linear expression is positive. So if you have a careful look at it, seems to be that you can take out 4, and then there's a 15, there's a m that can be linked to this. So we will draw out, given that m is less than 15. So I shift the m over to become negative m. I realize that 15 minus m is actually positive. And if you multiply both sides by 4, can you see that this is just your discriminant and you have just proven that it is positive? Shown. Okay, so when your discriminant ends up being a linear, they must give you some inequality somewhere that will help you prove it. So this is one type. Okay, don't be scared when you see the inequality there, don't know what is it for. Okay, it will serve its purpose later. So this is one type that I want to show you. You can highlight, you can tag it, remind yourself to revise. When discriminant is a linear expression, okay, you might want to check if they have given you any information about the variable. Okay, that you can sure use it to prove. Okay, this is just to remind you, we have done this in the chapter, yes.
Why is it 15 minus m?
Because they give me m is greater than 15. So when I minus m on both sides, then my 15 minus m must be positive. Yeah, 15 is greater than m, lor. So if I subtract m on both sides, can you see this one becomes 0? And then indirectly they are telling you 15 minus m is positive. It's from here, it's what they give me. So they are telling me that m is less than 15.
Because it will become 15 minus m.
Yes, so if you use 15 minus m, which is less than 15, it will always be a positive number. Yes. So whatever they give you here must help you prove that your discriminant is greater than 0. So you must see how you can tweak it. There must be a correlation between what they give you. Okay, so this is when it's linear. But if you look at 14 now, okay, go down to 14. Done, huh? Okay, if you go down to 14, they want you to show that this quadratic has real roots. So first thing first, show is one thing. Second thing is has real roots means discriminant is greater or equals to 0. Because can have one or can have two real roots. So what I want to show is that discriminant is greater or equals to 0. This is my eventual outcome. Okay, so what I need to do is rearrange my equation until I get the normal one. K equals to 0 on one side. And then my A is 1. My B is K. My C is this whole chunk. Anything that don't have an X. Okay, so now I find discriminant. Discriminant is B squared minus 4AC. So I don't write greater or equals to 0 anywhere. I need to prove it. So I go and simplify as per normal. And then I realize I end off as a quadratic expression now. Not a constant, not a linear, but a quadratic expression. So you all need to tell yourself when your discriminant ends up being a quadratic expression, please complete the square. Okay, go and complete the square. Okay, because if you have complete the square, you will have something bracket square that you can use. Okay, so you go and complete the square for this one. Okay, if you're observant enough, you will see it's K minus 6 bracket square. Okay, but if not, you do your usual complete the square, add a 0 pair. Okay, and then your 36. This number is always half of this. So the first 3 goes in. And then this is 36 plus 36. So this thing is gone. So you end up having this. So if you have a bracket square, doesn't matter what complicated expression it is inside, for all real values of K, this whole bracket square is always greater or equals to 0. Because if you square any number, it will either be 0 or positive. So you can just straight away prove that discriminant is greater or equals to 0. Shown. Okay, so I just put in these two questions to remind you that discriminant need not end up as a number. Yes. Just to complete it lah. Yeah, I usually just write the shown because they ask me to show right. Then I tell them I've shown it. Okay? So when it's linear, look for inequality that they give you anywhere to help you to solve. Then when it's quadratic, go and complete the square and then link back to the bracket square. This is the two variety they can give. If they want your life to be easy, they will give you a nice number. That means after you find discriminant, end up positive, shown. Okay? Or if they give you linear expression, means they must give you some inequality somewhere. If they give you quadratic, go and complete the square. So these are the 3 cases. If it's a show question. Okay, the rest I don't think I need to okay. I just highlight one thing can already. Okay, the rest you can go back and practice more. Since you already run out of question to practice for this, that's why I thought I'd give you some more. Okay, but this one is not homework, it's self-practice. You want to do, you do more. If you are already good, no need to do. Okay, so just do as you deem appropriate. Why some of you late, is it? Are you all like so half dead like that? Are you okay? The next lesson I must bring in chocolate, right? I owe a lot of you chocolate. All die already. Why? Today got WA? Tomorrow got what?
Got 2
What is it?
physics, then bio, then mother tongue.
3
No, 2, because
or some mother tongue.
no, some physics, some bio.
Oh, okay. Physics, bio. Bio is the memorized one. Physics is a lot of calculation. Need you memorize or not? Need, right? A bit. Why no confidence, is it? Why? Because it's physics. Okay, last time I also don't like physics. Right.
No, I like math.
I like physics, math, chem, and bio lah. Have, but it's okay. But I like chem better than everything. Why? I mean, like if I compare the sciences, yeah. Bio is my memorize. Okay, I just highlight all these. I just highlight all these so that you can see the difference. When they give you a line and a curve, make new quadratic first. This one, line and a curve. Line and a curve, line, curve, line, curve, line, curve, line, curve. So all these examples you see, 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, make new quadratic first before you handle the question. And then if you look at the question here, they say tangent. That's why discriminant equals to 0. They tell you tangent intersects at 2 distinct points, so discriminant greater than 0, 2 distinct points, does not meet. So always go and form your new quadratic. If they give you 2 expressions, then you go and look at discriminant got how many roots or no roots. Okay, then this other type, if you refer to this, the equation is already given to you. No need to form new one. Just rearrange them. This one also, just rearrange. No need to form new quadratic. Then you can proceed with the question by reading that 2 equal roots, so discriminant equals 0. Okay? So I'm just showing you that no matter how they phrase it, it's business as usual. Just need to form new quadratic or don't need to. Okay, so don't over confuse yourself with all the scenarios. It's usually almost the same. Okay, so this one you can slowly practice. My lesson is supposed to end at 9:10 or 9:20? 9:20. Okay, let's have a 4 minutes breather before. Wow, you really reading leh. Reading very loudly.
So like, for example, question 10, right? We find the new quadratic.
Yeah.
Then do we find the...
Then discriminant now, they tell you intersects the curve at 2 distinct points. So
But they
then
want
now you
range of
discriminant.
values.
Yeah, so discriminant greater than 0. So you can find discriminant greater than 0. Let's stop it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's the same thing.
Look, I thought like, because range of values then is the inequality.
Just that your answer is an inequality. But it's greater than 0 so you can solve. 10 minutes. What can I do? Yes.
I know because when you apply the discriminant
You look over the keywords. You see every question got keywords or what? Like this one, they say tangent. That's how we put equal 0 2 equal roots equals 0. Equals 0. Equals 0. But if it's like the last,